Throughout the long history of Africans and African-descended people in the United States, there have always been acts of resistance. Most of the time, at the forefront of these acts of resistance are Black women. Fanie, depicted here in an artist's interpretation, was born in 1749, somewhere in West Africa. She arrived in Salem sometime in her 20s and was known as someone who was priestly in her ways according to the records. She worked in the house of Gottlieb Schober and was known to sleep in the paper mill. However, Fanie was also known for her resistance. The record shows that she and her husband Timothy refused to speak German, the main language in Salem, as an act of resistance, and continued this practice throughout their entire lives. This artist's depiction shows Polly Oliver, born in 1811 in Salem as a free woman. While we don't know a ton about Polly Oliver, we do know that the pastor here in Salem described her as living a bad and sinful life. While we don't know what bad and sinful means in the context of Polly Oliver, we do know that when people are described this way in Salem, especially people of color, it usually means that they are resistant to laws that were in some way oppressive. This rendition depicts Pleasant, a woman who was born in Africa and purchased by the Moravians in 1805 to work at the Cherokee Mission in Spring Place, Georgia. During her time at Spring Place, Pleasant gave birth to a child, Michael, who was probably fathered by the chief enslaver there, James Van. When Michael was about 20 years old, he was sold away to an overseer, which made Pleasant very upset. In response to this, she went on a work strike, refusing to work for an extended period of time. Pleasant arrived in Salem in the 1830s and lived just outside of town in the Negro Quarter. Though she was in this community for 5 to 10 years, Pleasant never converted to Christianity. She continued to practice African spirituality throughout her life. Phyllis was born in Salem in 1807. And worked on Dr. Schumann's farm just outside of town. Phyllis's act of resistance was her education. She had a reputation for being an excellent student in the girls' school here in Salem. While Phyllis lived a short life, passing away at the age of 21 in 1828, her family was eventually able to leave Salem and move to West Africa, living in Liberia for the remainder of their lives.